One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
How to have fun, anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And boom! Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
You like that? You like that?
Well, I read the USA Today and I read the New York Times, and I read those both every day. And I listen to music. I wouldn't really. I mean, it wouldn't do me any good to listen to talk shows, because what's great about America, everybody has an opinion. You know what I mean? But what's also great about America, you don't have to listen to them, and that's the great part.
All right, this is Don King talking about about Bruno and Tyson, but give the common man the raise he so richly deserves. Don't lose him. Don't be standing on the dock of the bay when the ship is out to sea and the corner man is on board. You better get on board. Don't be there crying and whining. Get him and keep him. Give him the raise that he deserves. Hey, who is Johnny King?
Have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Very funny. Very funny.
I love the common man.
Thanks. Yeah.
I love the common man.
Listen to Cooley.
Moron.
Cooley.
Idiot.
Cooley.
Imbecile. What a Morris.
He's dead. Well, he's dead.
Lucky.
Guys.
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
You just have to draw your own conclusions, people.
Okay, calm down. Hell no, we're going to go to playoffs. I'll tell you that right now.
Rosa, you don't know nothing.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Number 12 midday radio host.
across the country. Out of 37 different shows that were considered for, hey, these are the best in radio. I'm number 12 out of 37. I'm happy with that. All the votes are now in. PA, the national treasure, as you would expect him to be, had the highest ranking of all four of our regular shows. He was number 5 in the country, middays. Morning show was 7. I was 12, and the afternoon drive was released today, big ticket 13. So we're all in the top 20. It's pretty good. Especially when you consider we're the worst all-sports radio station in the country. So says a former employee who funny was fired from here. And by the way, he's not on the list. No! He is not on the list. So I don't know where he went wrong. Or maybe it was where we went right. Or maybe we were wrong. And
maybe he motivated you.
That's possible. If loving you was wrong, then I don't want to be right. As the old Barbara Mandrell, Bawa Mandrell song once went. I was thinking about this, Tenemy, and I have to thank you. You've given me, and I don't remember when this was. Maybe you'll remember. Maybe one of the most important pieces of advice that I've ever received. I'm being serious. No, it is. You taught me how to properly peel a banana. I had a banana today with my oatmeal, and I peeled it from the bottom, and it just works like a charm.
It's way better.
Well, yeah, because when you did it with the stem, you would try to pull it, and usually what it would do is it would be still a little stiff. And so it wouldn't break the peel right away, so you would end up squishing like about a third of the banana up on the top. And then you become bitter, and then I'd actually take it with my teeth, and I'd tear it off, and I'm just like...
It would leave more strings attached, too.
And it's just like, they're just like, there's got to be a better way. But I never even considered the idea. I mean, I'd done the old, well, you know what I'll do? I'll cut it in half, and then where the banana is now exposed, well, I'll just peel it from there. And that worked okay, but it still wasn't as efficient. And you know what? Much like it's really fun to say, Bandaruski, Bandaruski, Bandaruski. Tenemy, say it.
Bandaruski.
Isn't it fun? Actually, if you were playing the Pat Mahomes part, you would have said, I'm not going to say it. That's what Mahomes says. He looks over his shoulder to do, and I don't even know the name of that actor. You know, the guy that's in all the State Farm commercials? They got straight guy, he's straight guy. And then there's always Mahomes, Andy Reid, and then sometimes Kelsey. But he looks back at straight guy, he goes, he might say it. And then he goes, well, and that's, the commercial's very good. But much like it's fun saying Bundalaruski, it's also fun to peel a banana that way. It's actually kind of fun. And every day it brings a smile to my face. So I want to thank you for that. I do really.
Can I ask you another controversial fruit question?
Okay, go ahead.
Are you an apple eater?
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite fruit, but I do. I enjoy an apple. Why would that be?
Well, it's top 2 fruit with me.
All right.
With bananas. But when you do you eat it right off the apple, or do you slice them up first?
Right off.
Put them in a slice.
I chomp right into it. I'm caveman like. Just chomp into it right till I get down to the core. You slicers?
Well, when I'm at work, I don't have a knife with me, so I just eat it like that, like a caveman. But they taste better being sliced. And
well, how can that be?
1, it's not as messy for you. 2, you can dip it into something like peanut butter. 3,
peanut butter with your apple?
There's always like a great, and you're going to be able to eat more of the apple because you're not getting as close. When you're eating it caveman style, sometimes you're not getting as close to the core as you could. And then 4, there's always like a great balance between peel and the inner part of the apple when you slice it. So slicing's the way to go.
You Honeycrisp, Macintosh, Granny, Smith. Do you have a favorite apple?
I'm a pink lady kind of guy.
Well, and you know what? You wear pink shirts, and you've got, you sort of, I'm not going to say you have a feminine side. I do. Wearing women's underwear is part of my turn on. But I like a good old Honeycrisp.
I mean, I like all of them.
I've recanted this tale, back in prior to my Haight-Ashbury days. I grew up on 1033 86th Avenue Northwest. Those are where my first real memories began. Kindergarten through 6th grade. L.O. Jacobs School for 2 years, and Adams School, 6th grade, track and field, blue ribbon, sack race. the rest is history. And I've told this story before. The Fabiankis lived at the end of the street. They had a really nice house on the river. And they also had a big hedge that went all the way around the property. And they had like 4 or 5 apple trees in their front yard. We'd wait till at night. We'd run in there and steal apples from them. Then lights would come on and we would take off running. And one day, old man Fabianchi or Mr. or Mrs. Fabianchi said, you can just come up and ask for them. We'll give them to you. And we hadn't considered that. But we also
they got too many.
Right. But we also thought, well, that's not as fun. Just to walk up and ask you for apples. Well, no, it's better when you're like, okay, watch. Is there anybody in the window? Okay, let's go. Then you make a break. And, of course, they know you're there doing it, right?
Yeah.
They're just not saying anything about it. And I think finally
it's an apple.
Right, yeah. And then finally I think they just said, well, maybe we just ought to go out and offer them to them. And it was like, it took all the fun out of it.
Does the apple have a better taste to it after you've
absolutely
been sneaky and stolen it?
When you've seen it, yeah. Yeah, absolutely it does. So yeah, it's I just can't thank you enough for that that tip.
I can't imagine why they would call this the sports abyss.
Yeah. Well, it's not really it's because I think it's more important. I think it's more what's more important? Talking about the upcoming big game, and I got plenty to say about it. I just wanted to thank you. I just feel like I don't thank you enough for some of the things you've done for me. There's not a lot of things.
It's life-changing, but it's also life-saving because bananas are so healthy for you.
Yeah, they're
good for you.
Do you like carrots?
I do.
I do, too. You know carrots are good for your eyes?
Why is that?
Well, you ever seen a rabbit wearing glasses? Vikings laid 2 eggs at the end of the season, Tennessee. They lost to the Motor City. They weren't that far out of that game at the Kitties, though. All they needed was a touchdown, 2-point conversion, an onside kick. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, an onside kick. Touchdown, 2-point kick. But they still made postseason play, went from the possibility of a first seed with a first-round bye and just 2 wins to get to the big game. And then they played L.A. and Phoenix, and by the time I get to Phoenix, we lost. And we weren't that far of that game either. We just needed a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and an onside kick. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, and an onside kick. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, an onside kick. But had the Vikings not let us down, Tennessee, you and I would have just completed our round at the TPC Louisiana. I had to cancel all those tee times. What do you think you would have shot at TPC Louisiana today?
83.
Ooh, 83 would be nice.
That'd be a nice round.
It's a nice golf course. Do I have the right one here? Where did it go? No, that's Audubon. Where's here it is. Well, maybe that's what it's called, too. TPC Louisiana. You go to a website, Tennessee, and guys, it's just gorgeous. Golf year-round with PGA Tour quality standards. Play our award-winning golf course. Golf overview, Tennessee. It's open for the public to enjoy. TPC Louisiana brings championship golf to New Orleans. Master architect Pete Dye designed the course working in conjunction with PGA Tour player Steve Elkington and Kelly Gibson. Can you hit the who on the Kelly Gibson?
Who?
A New Orleans native. So they brought in someone from New Orleans to work on it. The breathtaking scenery at TPC Louisiana's golf course stretches over 250 acres of wetlands along the Mississippi River Delta. The championship golf course meets the highest course conditions and is a grand representation of the natural local habitat. The golf course is part of the Audubon Golf Trail and a proud member of the Audubon Cooperative Sanctuary Program, providing a landscape that many have compared to a private nature reserve. Golf course layout incorporates stately stands of cypress and oak, with Dye adding plenty of water hazards and bunkers to make for a highly interesting game. Pete likes adding, I just played a Pete Dye course in Palm Springs, and he does like to add water and bunkers. The golf course features over 100 bunkers as well. How many of those 100 bunkers do you think you would have found in a round of golf? I don't think you would have found all 100 of them, but I bet a couple 13, 14 anyway. There are 5 sets of tees ranging from 51-21 to 7,400 yards. I think we would have skipped to 7,400 yards.
Most likely, yeah.
TPC Louisiana boasts a series of short but compelling par fours to balance the longer ones and delivers a great blend and challenge of playability. The signature hole on the golf course is the par 5 18th hole, water in play for the entire right side of the hole, making for a challenging finish for golfers of all skill. Thanks a lot, Sam. Appreciate it, B-Flow. Way to go, KOC. Thanks, JJ.
You've got to be kidding me.
Thanks, offensive line.
Yeah. Thanks. Who else? Is there anybody else we can point the finger at? You got to have there's plenty of fall guys in that club. They're the reason we're back here in Minnesota.
Van Ginkel had a chance at a pick six. Thanks, Van Ginkel.
Yeah. How about the referee? Stafford wasn't trying to ground that ball. He was trying to complete a pass.
That's still the most ridiculous play I've ever seen.
I'm just bitter.
Literally just flicked his fingers.
We'll when we come back, we'll talk a little Distat Live. Tanner, you got a keyword for us, I think.
I do. The fan wants to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword grand at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is grand. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Roku has what you need to make your college home away from home feel more like your own. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TV, or bring a Roku streaming stick to easily access all your favorite free and premium content like iHeartRadio. Stream your favorite playlist with the Roku Vibe Setting Smart Light strips to sync your music to millions of colors and make your dorm feel more like you. Make your dorm the place to be with Roku TVs, streaming players, and smart lights. Head to Roku.com or your favorite retailer to deck out your dorm.
Wild Wednesday is sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. They're here all season long. Listen every Wednesday, that's today, through March for your chance to win tickets.
The other day I was talking about how I heard Meat Sauce doing an endorsement for a brewery. It was Elm Creek Brewery, is that the name of the place? And I thought, with so many different, taverns, bars, alcohol manufacturers advertising, it might be worth start drinking again just to get an endorsement. But I'm not going to do that. I don't need to alter my mind, have a good time. But if you do, just
do you not drink?
No, I quit. I just put the cork in the bottle. Said I've had enough.
Oh, that just happened?
Oh no, I don't remember the exact. I think it was something like May 19th, 1990.
Wow. And
but Meat Sauce has become a really exceptional pitchman, and he's gone beyond. In case you didn't know, radio. Have you seen the TV commercials he's doing?
I have not.
Jacklings. Well, and the best part about it is, and you know why he was a perfect fit for it? There's not a speaking part, and they didn't have to buy him a costume. There was no wardrobes to do.
You didn't have to hire a makeup person.
No, just show up. So congratulations to Meat Sauce for being the Jack Links pitchman. I just thought of that. Half second. Maury Amsterdam guy wrote it for me. I've used it in my comedy before, but I just forgot about it. It's a good one, though, isn't it?
How much would it cost to rent that suit out? Because you could do that on stage. Hey, let's come to the stage. Here's Meat Sauce. You just have someone walk out with that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But then again, that costs me money, and no money, no funny, and then it cuts into the bottom line, and it's all sorts of issues. I want to remind you again, the official, unofficial ambassador to Minnesota Golf will be hosting the 5-Iron Golf Open House downtown Minneapolis. There in the North Loop. There's like 30 of them now across the country. It's like I think it's like Top Golf, Callaway. There's a lot of big name corporations that are all involved in this thing. It's a wonderful establishment. Trackman Technology. They have craft cocktails and Tripping the Light Fandango, and they got chef inspired cuisine. It's a lot of fun. So we're going to be a lot of people are saying it's a lot of fun. I'm going to be there 5 to 7 tomorrow. We'd like you to RSVP. You don't have to. Just show up. If you do RSVP, 5irongolf.com/Minneapolis. You can touch the hem of my garment, verbally slap me on the back, watch me hit knockdown, punch, cut, fade, draws to see how good I really am. So you can go, you're not just all talk. You've been telling the truth, the whole truth, or at least some semblance of the truth all these years. Closer to the pin contest, wild tickets to give away, Wolves tickets to give away, and a $100 gift card. By the way, we'll give away another $100 gift card today on the air to 5 Iron Golf. And it's also a Wild Wednesday, so we'll give away wild tickets a little bit later. You know, Tennessee, I think is today Wednesday? Was it Monday that Garrett Miles? Miles Garrett, sorry. Miles Garrett said, you know what? I didn't want to go from Cleveland to Canton. I wanted to go to a big game. So he's demanded a trade. I'm assuming the Browns will acquiesce and make him that trade. Have you seen what the destination most people are picking for Miles Garrett? Motor City. Because the whole take on it is like, they don't need their first round picks. They don't need them.
They're late.
Yeah, but I mean, and they don't even need them because they're loaded. They've got, every position they're loaded. So think if they were to get Miles, and that would be a destination if he indeed wants to play in a big game.
Yes, that's his
one
reason.
Team. That's one team that you would say, yeah, I'd love to be traded to there. They get Aiden Hutchinson and Miles Garrett. I mean, it's like
he wouldn't have to travel too far from Cleveland.
No. That would be the definition of the rich getting richer.
Yeah, we'd be in trouble.
Whether that happens, or I know there have been people that have speculated maybe he would come here. I don't see that happening. Do you? I suppose it could. I don't. Anything can happen. I mean, if you can trade street clothes for Luka Doncic, anything can happen in any trade in any league.
I haven't really seen any national buzz on Miles Garrett coming here. I think
right.
Your meat sauces of the world will rube it up and throw it out, but. It would seem unlikely with Grenard, Van Ginkel. You spent a first-round pick and traded multiple picks to get that first-round pick to get Dallas Turner last year. I think you would try to go that route and use your resources elsewhere.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you. It's tell Pliska thanks for the reminder. I got to tell him thanks. Doing business on the air. Thanks for the reminder. I would totally space that out. I was looking, big game. The fan has learned, tend to be, that the big game is coming up on Sunday in New Orleans. We would have been there, but we weren't. And we've been talking the past couple of weeks about tickets for the big game. And the latest update, this is an Associated Press story by Mark Anderson. Mark has been writing sports for the Associated Press for a while now. And the story says prices on the secondary ticket market for Sunday's big game in New Orleans are much less than last year's big game and declining, but still at historical standards. The average price for the Chiefs-Eagles tilt at TickPick was $6,552. That was as of yesterday. If that amount holds, it would be the website's third highest for a big game. Last year's game between the Chiefs and the Niners had an average price at that site of $9,136. So, a little less than $3,000 cheaper now. The only other big game to attract a higher average price was 4 years ago when the amount was $7,046 for the Chiefs game against hometown Tampa Bay, when the crowd was limited to 25,000 fans because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The lowest price for this year's game was just less than $4,000, which has declined about 30% since the matchup was set. Game Time reports a similar trend, also noting that last year's game had a minimum price of $8,746 shortly before kickoff. Game Time said in a statement, with last year's Vegas hype and Niners fans' frenzy behind us, prices are seeing a natural market correction. Plus, with no major pent-up demand from either fan base, tickets are looking better than ever. The lowest prices at Vivid Seats and StubHub were less than $4,000. And, look, teach his own, whatever you want to spend money on, tend to be. I mean, I wouldn't spend $200 on a ticket to go to the big game. Now, I'm assuming there are people that would say, I bet you'd spend, it's almost $600 to play Pebble Beach. Yeah, I would. I guess one time, I I'd like to play Pebble, especially after seeing it again the other day, last weekend. So
I'd like to play it too.
Yeah, so to each his own, right? I mean, people spend money on different things. Some things are more important, more valuable to somebody. But I'll be in the comfort of my couch, and that would be even if, I mean, like if the Vikings would have went to the big game and we went down and broadcast from New Orleans, I would just watch from the hotel room on the TV. I wouldn't even go into the stadium, because your press box isn't like 50-yard line. You and me would have
auxiliary press box.
Well, yeah, and what they do there is they just take one section of the stadium, obscured view, way up in the third deck in the corner. You don't want to watch the game from there in a hard match.
I think I remember when it was here at US Bank Stadium, some of the media didn't even get a seat inside the stadium. They had to go to some room below, and they had to watch the game on television, and then they can go to the locker room after. But yeah, you didn't even get a seat to watch the game in.
Well, thanks. I'd go back to the hotel room, and I'd prop my feet up on the bed, and I'd watch it there. Teddy B, we've got Wild today. What do we have?
Yeah, this is Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. For the first time this season, the Wild have lost 2 in a row on the road as they were blanked 3-0 last night in Boston. Wild are in their longest scoring drought of the season as they've gone 120 minutes and 27 seconds without a goal. Marc-Andre Fleury played well, though. He stopped 32 of 34 shots, but the power play did not score in its 4 opportunities. The Wild did claim Vinny Hinostroza today off waivers from Nashville. That gives them an extra forward with Ryan Hartman suspended and with Jakub Lacko with that lower body injury placed on injured reserve today. The Wild begin a 2-game homestand tomorrow night versus the Carolina Hurricanes before a 2-week break for the Four Nations face-off. That was Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, a crowd pleaser since 1795.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have supervision, enhanced hearing, extraordinary reflexes, to be, dare we say, superhuman? Well, Roku's new Pro Series TV can't do any of that for you. But with a 4K screen, side-firing speakers, and a blazing fast refresh rate, it'll sure feel like it. Elevate your entertainment using all your favorite apps like iHeart and play all your music, radio, and podcasts with the new Roku Pro Series. Your senses aren't better. Your TV is.
Heads up, comedy fans. The one and only Sebastian Maniscalco is coming to XL Energy Center. Get ready for an unforgettable night of laughter and fun when he takes the stage on Friday, February 14th. Check out our contest page for your chance to win a pair of tickets. Head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest for your chance to win.
When's your Twins apology, Tennessee? You've been so hard on this team. You complain about their lack of spending money, not retaining their own free agents, not building this thing together, standing strong forever. Nothing's going to stop us now. We do have some breaking Twins news here. No, they've not identified a buyer yet. But the Twins and Gold Glove center fielder Harrison Bader have agreed on a 1-year contract with a mutual option for a second.
Oh my gosh.
I did confirm the deal with an MLB source. So it's not like I'm just throwing this stuff out there like a lot of people tend to do. Bader's 30. This is from Fish Wrap Factory West Side. Bobby Nightingale writes the piece. He's played 8 major league seasons with the Cardinals, the Yankees, the Reds, and the Mets. He won his Gold Glove in 2021 in St. Louis. So, when you hear Gold Glover center field, you go, great. But and that doesn't necessarily mean that his fielding prowess is taking a nosedive, or he's not as good with the glove as he once was, because other people can snag the ball pretty well out there, and they'll spread the wealth and give those Gold Gloves to other players. He played for the Mets last year. Hit .231, 12 home runs, 51 RBI. He stole 17 bases. Sounds like he stole his $10.5 million contract, too.
I was going to say, it explains why he's available on February 5th.
Does that lead us to believe that they're not counting on Byron to be out there for 162? It probably has something to do with it, right? It's like, we need a little bit of insurance out there, because who's the guy that just retired? Was it Kepler?
No.
Kirilloff. Sorry, I get my Twins outfielders whose name starts with a K for 200, please. There's Kepler and Kirilloff, and there might be another one somewhere down the line. So I guess it's, again, it's more of a, or as Dark Star would say,
well, there's that.
It's not really that big of a deal, but the Twins did make a move today. And, we talked about this, I think with Rosen yesterday, that a couple of people have alerted me to the fact, and I've not seen these prognostications yet, so I'm just taking the text messenger's word for it. But there are National Baseball guys that are picking the Twins to win the division.
Well, no, it was so PECOTA. Don't ask me what it stands for, but PECOTA always has analytic projections.
Okay,
and that seems to be the one that the members of the media glom onto the most as being legit and credible.
Okay,
so they had the Twins. I had it in 5 questions the other day. I never got to it. I think at 86.7 wins and projected to take first in the AL Central. I think they were 47% chance to win the division, 61% to make the playoffs.
Well, and again, I know that some people are probably, and even I have my doubts, obviously, as we do with most of the hometown teams. But we've mentioned on a couple of occasions, even as much as that. By the way, we renamed our show. It's called The Rewind, because we repeat ourselves a lot. We just rewind the show from the other day. But we talked about how the Twins, they looked like they were in early to mid-September last year. They were first place, and then they played their last 30, 35 games, third worst record in Major League Baseball. And they fell out of contention. And 3 other teams from the Central made postseason play: Kansas City, Detroit, and the Guardians. They all made it to postseason play. And, I'm not paying as close attention to roster changes on the Guardians, the Tigers, and the Royals as I once did. I'm sure they've had some players leave, some probably acquired some new guys, re-signed guys, let other guys go via free agency. But, I would think those 3 teams aren't going to fall off the face of the Central. So it should be a competitive division, which is always fun. We talked about that, tend to be, as much as it made it more difficult. Look at difficult. The Vikings finished 14-3 and didn't even get a first round bye and didn't win the division. But even though it was much more difficult, it was so competitive in the Central. The Bears looked good early. Weren't they 4-2 or 6-2 or something? And then boom, that bottom fell out. And I think they only won. Did they even win another game all year? I don't know if they won another game. It started with the
Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary pass. And after that,
the guy in the secondary was celebrating, looking at the
taunting the fans, pointing at him. You doubted us. You doubted us. And it made for, I like when the division's competitive. I really do. And I like it competitive in a good way, not 9-8 could win this thing this year.
Yeah.
It's I'm not interested in a 9-8 team. But 15-2, 14-3, and the Packers would go 11-5, I think. And I don't see any of those teams. I really don't. Again, with the Lions having changes at their coordinator positions, my guess is they'll lose a few players. They get some players back if they were able to get a guy like Myles Garrett. That changes things. And then the Packers, they're young, they're fun, they're hip, they're with it and wow. And I think the Vikings will be solid again. And if they do go with McCarthy, there might be a little bit of a slower learning curve for him. I think a lot of people point at Jaden Daniels and go, that's what we're going to get. Well, maybe, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but the Jaden Daniels guys, that's kind of rare, isn't it, for rookie quarterbacks to have that big of an impact and get your team to the NFC Championship game?
I just saw a stat, because they're talking about him on ESPN as we speak, about how the Commanders' points this year was the most ever by a team led by a rookie quarterback.
Okay. So that just doesn't happen that often. And to try to extrapolate that and say, because I know we're high on McCarthy, right? We like, I remember when we drafted him, there was the old one wherever he's gone. One in high school, one state championship to high school, quarterback to undefeated national championship team at Michigan. So the guy is a winner. But that doesn't mean he will. But, I would still expect the Vikings to be a pretty good club, right? They seem, I don't think they're going to have a major fall off. And then the Bears, now they got Ben Johnson now, and maybe he's a quarterback whisperer. I don't know. So the division should be competitive again in the North, and I think the Central will be competitive. The only issue, and I said this yesterday, was, because a couple of people were, pushing back on, well, Twins are predicted to win the division, but even if they do, and I guess until the games are actually played, this is preseason prognostications. The pitchers and catchers haven't even reported yet. But you just look at the rest of the league and you just say, the Yankees and all the big market teams that got the bigger payrolls, they generally fare a little bit better. They don't always win the whole thing, but they seem to make deeper runs. We saw it last year. It was Dodgers, Yankees. So I just don't know if the Twins are a threat, even if they win the division, to make any noise in postseason play. Though we love saying chip in a chair and a chance. So, but I guess what I'm saying is I think whoever comes out of the NFC North last year, and again, it's really early because we haven't had a draft or free agency or combines or anything. But I would think whoever comes out of the NFC North will have a much better chance of making some progress in postseason play than the team coming out of the AL Central. I just think. I don't know. Right? I just don't look at the AL Central.
I'm just not ready to believe in the AL Central after last season.
Exactly.
And apparently Bakota isn't either.
Yeah, and so that's where we're at there. Because
the Twins still are. Well, actually, did Detroit just jump over them for the team with the most payroll this year, or did the Twins now just jump back now with the two moves we've made the last couple days? But it's still a division that does not pay its players.
Correct. The Tigers did sign. Is it Flaherty? I think he might have been their best pitcher last year. I think he re-signed. So he's back. So he's happy. And if he's happy, I'm happy. Here's some news that would be a bit unhappy. This broke just a little bit earlier today. Chris Hine writes Timberwolves basketball for Fish Wrap West Side, the Minnesota Star Tribune. Headline reads, Timberwolves Julius Randle has right adductor, not abductor. Abductor is like a kidnapper. Randle has right adductor strain, is out at least 2 more weeks. Julius Randle, who's been the Timberwolves' second leading scorer since coming to the team in a preseason trade, will be sidelined at least 2 more weeks because of a groin injury. Wolves released a statement this morning, which read in part, an MRI, and then what I like is they put in parentheses, magnetic resonance imaging, just so in case you didn't know. Just in case you didn't know. An MRI taken at Mayo by Dr. Sheldon Burns. No, I'm just kidding. It's not Sheldon Burns. An MRI taken at Mayo Clinic by Dr. Kalechi Okoroa on Randle revealed a right adductor strain and was confirmed via second opinion by Sheldon Burns. No, by Dr. Benjamin Dome of American Hip Institute. Randle will be reevaluated in 2 weeks, and further updates of his progress will be provided when available. Is it possible Randle doesn't like any of those 2 opinions, and he'll seek a third like Demo did, and he'll be back? Or no, is it BMO or Demo?
Demo.
Yeah. Because remember, Demo went to get a third opinion.
B-Flow.
Yeah. Demo went to get a third opinion because he wanted to play in the postseason. He did. He was rather ineffective. And I think my guess is a lot had to do with the knee just wasn't very stable. And
I was expecting to hear, maybe it did happen and I just didn't hear it, that he already had an off-season surgery or something.
Yeah, I've not heard anything either. I think I would have saw that on my Lions feed, because The Athletic, I've got a Lions feed. So that's what I would have Would have thought. Here's some breaking news. The Toledo Mud Hens have just jumped the Twins in payroll. So, here's
I'm guessing the Savannah Bananas actually do have a higher payroll than the Twins.
Savannah Bananas probably do. Here's a text message. What if Ben Johnson was the only reason that the Kitties were good? It's possible. It is certainly possible. Tenneby and I have discussed. It's one of those age-old bar room discussions, you know, when you're sitting around the bar having a beer, though neither of us drink. What's more important to the team, the coaches or the players? I still think it's the players. And, you know, I guess it's possible. I mean, Johnson is highly regarded. He's probably going to win Coordinator of the Year, though B-Flow could win it. I guess 5 guys are up for it. It's the NFL Honors Awards tomorrow. Everybody's pretty convinced KOC is going to win Coach of the Year. He's already won Coach of the Year in 2. You know, there's so many different media-type organizations that award Coach of the Year that you know, which one's more important than the other, I don't know. I think the NFL Honors one is where I think that, you know, the Man of the Year and all that, I think the NFL Honors is taken more seriously by the players and the organizations than the others, but that might not be. Here's another one, Tenneby. Is it possible that Ben Johnson made Dan Campbell look like such a great coach? My guess is these are Viking fans that are grasping at straws. They're just hoping again. You know, you got to hope for something. So you hit your knees that night and you say, "Dear football God, please make it that the only reason the Lions were good was because of Ben Johnson. Dear football God, please make it that the only reason Dan Campbell looks like he's a good coach is because of Ben Johnson." It might all be true. I still think that Lions offensive, I would say their general manager was more responsible for what happened the past few years with the you know, drafting Jahmyr Gibbs and making the trade with the Vikings, fleecing them. I mean, making the trade for Hawkinson and then drafting Sam Laporta and sticking with Goff. Now he's a lot of money, and you know, Goff again. Can he ever win a big game? I don't know. He's been to one, came close another time, and you know, I certainly he did not play very well in this last playoff game either. He was not very good. So there's still some questions there. But they've also drafted some good linemen under Holmes, and they have talented players. Yeah, they do. You know, and does scheme make a difference? Sure, it does. Absolutely, it does. But I'm not convinced that now that Ben's gone, it's all over for them. You know, Detroit's defense last year, they started the season and they were very good. As a matter of fact, part of the reason, even after all their injuries, it started with Hutchinson in like week 5, and then they just kept Lions defending. They call them the decimated Detroit defense. And as their defensive players started to drop like flies, the defense in those last 4 games of the year wasn't very, well, except against the Vikings, they weren't very good. But because they had built up so much equity earlier in the year, they didn't fall that far down on the defensive rankings. But, you know, they still played well enough that Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, he got a head coaching job. He's with the New York Football Jets now. So, yeah.
That's the point I was going to bring up is if you want to make the argument, hey, Ben Johnson is the reason that offense is so good, they're going to take a step back. You could make that argument.
Yep.
You could also find an argument, hey, well, it might not matter because defensively they might be way better with Aiden Hutchinson returning. Let's say they go get a Myles Garrett and you have Aiden Hutchinson back healthy. Well, all of a sudden that defense might be elite and you don't need to score 40 points a game anymore.
You got Anzalone, who's very talented. So is Campbell. They got Branch. They got Terry and Arnold, who's starting to develop into a good play. That defense has the makings. They have the groundwork, the foundation to be pretty good. So you're right. I would suppose, and I can't recall the names. They've replaced, I think, both offensive and defensive coordinator at Detroit. I didn't recognize the names. One may have been an in-house hire. Maybe they both were. I don't recall. But, you know, I'm sure those guys are going, this is a pretty nice spot to land here. You've given me a lot of talent to work with. This might be my first coordinator's job, but guess what? There's talent here. This is going to make my first coordinator's job, I don't know if I want to use the word easier, but less complicated to put together because I have players that I've watched succeed in a pretty good, with a pretty good offensive coordinator and maybe the best in the business in Ben Johnson. So I think those coordinators they're just delighted. It's one of the reasons why, if you remember last year during the hiring cycle, Ben Johnson's name was at the top of the list. He said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here in Detroit. And we speculated, and I don't even think it's speculation. He's probably thinking, well, wait now. I built this thing, and we were just one win away from getting to the big game, and I'd like to see this thing through at least one more year, see where we go with it. And they made another run. They got 15-2, got the first the bye. Then they got, they laid an egg against Washington. Lions weren't that far out of that game, though, Tennessee. All they needed was a touchdown, 2-point conversion, an onside kick. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, an onside kick. And maybe about 4 less turnovers, and they may have won that. They won that football game. But then that's when Ben Johnson decided to leave. So, and then he left to what's probably considered a pretty good spot, because even though the Bears kind of fell apart, they have some pieces there. You've talked about their wide receivers, Adunzie, what's his name?
Ramadunza.
And then the one guy they've got who's old and long in the
Keelan
Allen.
DJ Moore.
And DJ Moore. So they got that. I don't know, the running game might be all right. And they got a quarterback that's considered generational. Now, I know he struggled. We saw that. But you can't compare everything to Jaden Daniels. If you start comparing every rookie quarterback to Jaden Daniels, they'll all be considered failures. Yeah, Caleb did not have nearly the year that Daniels did. We know that. But different situation, different coach, everything was kind of messed up there. Now he's got an offensive coordinator that's had a lot of success. And maybe that will, and it could be just Caleb's just not that good. It could end up being.
We'll find out.
Yeah, but we will find out.
He's got the skill set.
But he does apparently.
But even in Detroit, right, and you talked about how much skill they have, it's not like the next offensive coordinator is coming in and, man, I have to scheme up this team to move the ball. Because one, top 3 offensive line in football.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to have some brilliant scheme when you have offensive linemen who can just flat out block.
Correct.
1-2 punch at running back that's as good as anybody's in the leagues. Tight end, a little bit of a down year from his rookie year, but still
solid.
Top 5, top 10.
Yeah.
At least tight end. Quality quarterback. A wide receiver who's top 10 in football. I mean, you don't need to bring in some super genius that has to reinvent the wheel for this team to move the football.
And I still think their number 2 wide receiver, Jameson Williams. He seemed a little flighty.
Yes.
And I think I'm being kind there. But I still think he looks like he still has room to grow. And he is fast. He's a game-breaking kind of a wide receiver. So, yeah, I don't think I guess, what a couple of the text messengers were suggesting, with Ben Johnson gone, it's all over for Detroit. They're going to go back to being the SOL, same old Lions. And they're going to go 4-13 next year, but I don't believe that's.
Do they think they'll be bad without him, or do they want him? Want them to be bad without him?
I think that's what it is. Let's pause. When we return, the legendary one, Mark Rosen, joins us here on the Common Man program of the Fan.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.